Welcome to an episode of Old Reader, New Reader. Today, we are reviewing this behemoth.
Behemoth is a good way to describe this.
Batman by Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo Omnibus, Volume 1. This is so heavy.
It's not that bad.
It's ridiculous.
Not that bad. It is a little ridiculous to read because of the binding, but because of that small gutter loss, you have to keep pushing the pages down. So we are back. We took a little bit of a break. We had some sickness, work, whatever the reason was, can't recall. But we're here because we are devoted. I am the Uncanny Omar. This lovely lady. Are you going still by Wonder Maddie or are you battling Madeline? What did you decide?
I'm sticking with Wonder Maddie. I mean, battling Madeline is very cool.
Battling Madeline is pretty badass. But sticking with Wonder Maddie. I like that. So we are Uncanny Omar and Wonder Maddie. We're back. Yeah. Like I said, we took a little hiatus. This book was huge. This is Batman by Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo, Omnibus Volume 1, which is what we're going to be reviewing today. If you're new to Old Reader, New Reader, we are going to be talking spoilers, so keep that in mind. And there's a lot that happens in here. This collects the first 33 issues, along with the Zero issue and the first 2 annuals, and 23.2, which was written by Scott Snyder. So,
and apologies to everyone. I left my headphones at work, so I'm just using my mic on my computer. So hopefully,
you sound good. You sound good.
Joe says I sound like I'm trapped inside a bottle.
You do? Okay, you sound like you're trapped inside of a bottle.
Maybe I am.
Maybe she is. Maybe that's how the holiday funk has you.
Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and warn everybody, listen, don't be like me and decide to read all of this in a day.
You read that in one day, dude?
I've read it today.
Maddie, we had 4 weeks to get...
You're right.
3 weeks to get ready. Never say that Madeline is a procrastinator.
I've been playing AI Somnium Files. So I read all of TKO, second round, and this today.
You have no idea how proud I am of you. That's fair. Not that you need my approval, but just damn. That's crazy.
Well, I will admit there's one part of the book that I wasn't that into. I think I probably went a little fast on it because I didn't really like it.
The captions?
But we'll talk about it.
All right, so let's talk about this.
Yeah.
Really quick, this book has been available in just about every format. You have trade paperbacks, you have standard size hardcovers, you have box sets, you have absolute editions. It is all over the board. And we are talking about mainly the omnibus, but the story's in here. This is right after Flashpoint. So after the events of Flashpoint, DC Universe went through a reboot. Right, but it wasn't a hard reboot for some characters, including Batman. But there was some retconning done, which is what we're going to be talking about actually here. So this is it's almost like going back and reestablishing the character of Batman again for a new generation, right? So it's especially when we get to talk about Zero Year and issue number 0 and things like that. So Batman has existed in this universe. It's still Bruce Wayne. Apparently, Nightfall still happened. Apparently, No Man's Land. All that stuff still happened. So that's still in continuity. And then it just blows my mind that Batman's only been around for 7 years, according to New 52. So,
right, which means he's gone through a lot of Robins because all the Robins are still here. All of them. Nightwing, Tim Drake, Jason Todd, and Damian. So within this amount of time.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So the first story arc, we're going to break them up into, I guess, really there's 3 main stories here, right? You have the Court of the Owls storyline, which is the first 12 issues and part of the annual, and then that actually spins off into everything else. So if you were reading like the Bat Family at the time, it was a pretty cool time to be reading Batman because Talons made it into Nightwing, they made it into Batgirl, they made it into the Teen Titans series, Red Hood and the Outlaws. So,
which I love because I had put off reading New 52 Batman until I could read it all together. So I've read all of the other connecting series completely, but not this. So I finally got to jump into it because I've read Death of the Family in so many other comic books before I read it on this one.
Well, one thing I was
Same
going to
story.
say is that specific issue of Death of the Family is collected in just about every trade. Well, in all the Bat Family trade paperbacks. If you own Batgirl Volume 3, if you own Nightwing Volume 3, if you own Red Hood and the Outlaws Volume 3, what is it? Issue 2024, I think, is collected in every one of those.
Yeah.
So that issue, I think I must have read like 80 times. I'm like, I feel like I've done this so many times. So let's talk about Court of the Owls, because Court of the Owls sets up a new sort of status quo with Batman, right, and his family, because this is all new. Like, that's the first issue. Everybody, you know, when this first issue came out, we had no idea how much had been rebooted in the Bat mythos. We were like, okay, maybe his parents are still alive. We really didn't know. Like, there were rumors that he killed the Joker. There were rumors that Thomas and Martha Wayne were still alive. There were all these rumors, but none of them were true. It's still Batman at the core. It's still him and the Bat family. And we are introduced to these new villains, and they're called the Court of Owls, right? Like, now, Snyder, before he had written this, he wrote a run on Detective Comics with, was it Jock that drew it? And it's called Black Mirror. It's a wonderful run. It was a short run, though. It was only like 10 or 11 issues. But then he went on to become the head writer on this. And the Court of Owls, I guess it's like the Illuminati of Gotham.
Yeah, basically, right? Because they've been kind of the behind the scenes for
like JC and Beyonce are part of the Court of Owls, and they run whatever. Like, it's the high society of Gotham, and that's pretty much all you need to know. And they run the things behind the scenes, and they've been planning everything since the beginning, dealing with the Waynes way back in time.
Yeah.
And now, you know, we get to Batman, and Batman's like, I don't believe in the Court of Owls. And then suddenly the mystery deepens, and because he's like, it's just a song to scare children or whatever, because, you know, he's Batman, he knows everything. And then there's ties to Nightwing, and he realizes, oh no, there is a Court of Owls. Oh no, they know I'm Batman, or they're in my oh, I love that, by the way. Can I just say how badass it was that they go into his house, into his mansion, like, and to try to take him out. Like, he's like, oh, they're here. Crap. Dang, that was so awesome. And he
I love it. I love how scared he gets of them.
Right, because he doesn't.
I mean, you know, they basically take his whole shtick and turn on its head against him. Right, because he's all about, like, having this costume to scare people, and they easily do that too, which I really like. And
it's ironic, you know, that's what owls hunt at night, and barn owls are known for hunting bats. You know, so it all goes back to that. But my favorite scene is is when they're in the house and they're all attacking him. They're going after Alfred. He puts on this. Of course, he's got an armored suit down there, right? It's Batman. It's Bruce Wayne. He's prepared, and he's got this badass RoboCop armor. And he's like, "Get the hell out of my house!" Oh, I was like, "Fuck yeah, man! That's your house."
Pretty serious, right? Because he had made that suit for war, but they are so talented that they were able to make Batman use this suit for war in his own house. Right. I mean, that just shows how formidable these opponents are.
And almost like how it's ridiculous, but I don't care how ridiculous or how over the top it is. It's amazing still that how far ahead of the game he is, right? Like, he's not the dude that's 3 or 4. He's like 10 steps ahead of the game. He's always prepared for whatever. It all goes back to the Bat Shark repellent. Now, the biggest introduction, and again, this is spoilers, but one of the biggest introductions we are given with the Court of Owls mythos is a relationship that one of them has with him, right? One of them claims to be his brother that was locked away in a mental institution. And he's kind of second guessing himself. He's like, there's no way this guy's my brother. I'm Batman. I would have figured, I would have known I had a brother.
Right.
This guy's obviously messing with me, and that's part of the Court of Owls. So this guy's claiming to be Thomas Wayne Jr. Mm-hmm. However, he is first introduced at the beginning. He has what is his name? It's like Gordon something, I think. Lincoln something. But he took the name from the two streets that are on the two streets that insane asylum is on.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was pretty cool. And he wears this owl outfit that is very, very similar to the Batman's outfit.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see that one right there. And they're knocking the crap out of each other. But yeah, and then at the end, you're left wondering, well, is he really his brother or not? And even he himself is almost like, as he's talking to Dick Grayson, like talking himself out of the idea. No, there's no way this guy's my brother. He knew all these things about me. He knew all these things about my family. That's why. Which takes us to the. And then there's an annual with Mr. Freeze, kind of a retelling of his origin.
Which I like.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
James Fabuk drew that one, and then we had issue 0. This is the way we're doing in the way that the Omnibus has this. And we had issue 0, which introduces us to the Red Hood gang.
Yeah.
And if you're familiar with the Red Hood gang, he was a character from back in the Golden Age, Silver Age. But the biggest thing he did was, of course, Alan Moore used the character, brought him back as the origin of the Joker. Right? He's the character that became the Joker when he fell into that acid pool. And then, of course, Jason Todd became the Red Hood later on. Mm-hmm. But this is the Red Hood and his gang. And this particular story was 6 years ago. So before Bruce Wayne became Batman, there's this gang of Red Hood people. And this whole issue, it's like him going incognito and pretending to be a thug and joining the gang. So that's where issue 0 is. And then hold on, what comes next? This is the death of the family.
Death of the family comes after that.
Okay, so I'll let you talk about that since I just went through the whole Court of Owls, but you can talk about that. It's a pretty simple story.
Yeah, I mean the Joker comes back and he's kind of gangs up with all of the other Arkham Asylum like villains and everything, and then just comes out to terrorize Batman and everybody else, because at the same time he is showing up in all of the other Bat adjacent comic books. Right? He's in Catwoman, he's in Nightwing, he's in Red Hood and the Outlaws, Batgirl. I think Birds of Prey also.
Maybe I stopped reading that after first 6 issues. And Joker has looked. I think this is the creepiest he has ever looked.
I like this look for him. I mean, I don't want it all the time, but I like it in this.
Yeah, it works for this. Like the Doll Man had cut his face off, and he had sewn it back on. And even Harley Quinn is like, he's not the same Mr. J as he used to be. And the whole time Batman's like, what? He kidnaps Alfred, and there's all this questioning, and there's this whole thing with Scott Snyder that he does. It's like, do they know or don't they know? You keep asking yourself these questions. Do the villains know that Bruce Wayne is Batman?
Right, because that's the big focus of this too, right? And because even Bruce is like, well, maybe there's a chance. Because he doesn't even divulge that to the team, to the family.
Like, because Dick keeps asking. He's like, Bruce, does he know that you're Batman? Because if he knows you're Batman, he knows we are all, related in some way, because he kidnaps Alfred for some reason. Right,
because how does he know to terrorize the rest of us?
And then, they're like, and he refuses to believe it. He's like, no, it's just because Bruce Wayne is part of Batman Inc. That's why he has Alfred. It's ridiculous to think that I would let it slip that I'm Batman. I am more cautious.
In the discussion between the two of them too, or like him and the team too, because they're like, why don't you deal with it this way, or why don't you do these things? And he's like, well, you don't understand. Like you don't know him like I do. You have to think like he does.
CPG brought something up that I forgot to mention in the first story arc.
Yeah, Harper.
There was a very small cameo of this character named Harper. Like she fixes him up, puts hooks him up to a machine and brings him back.
I love Harper.
And doesn't show up until later.
Yeah, and then we see her a few different times in and out, and I like how they kind of give you like little snippets of her and her brother Colin. And then later on, you get to see the full Bluebird, right?
Yeah,
I'm a huge Harper Row fan. I think she's incredibly underutilized.
Is she still Bluebird? I think They kind
I
of.
think she still is because she showed up in Rebirth.
Oh, did she? Okay,
Mhm.
I
I mean,
honestly.
minimally, but she is in Rebirth. I mean, she's definitely heavier, like more heavily used in New 52, but.
Yeah, so we're introduced to her. So meanwhile, the Joker kidnaps Alfred, and then he kidnaps the rest of the Bat family because that's how horrific he is. Like it's always weird, right? It takes a really talented writer to write a story where the Joker is genuinely creepy and can be a formidable force because he's this really skinny, dorky looking guy. So you think there's a scene where it's like it's at the water plant, right, where both of them are fighting.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, he just like Batman literally kicked him and he like broke a couple of ribs, I'm sure. There's no way that Joker's gonna beat him, but he just outsmarts him. Is what he does, right? He fucks with his psyche, and I love that about him.
Oh,
So yeah, he kidnaps the whole family. He tells Batman that there's this whole scene again. We're talking about spoilers where they're all sitting down, and he's like, he cut all their faces off as they're sitting there.
Oh yeah, well, I love
round
this.
table bandaged up.
This issue is so well done. And every time I read it, I'm in love with it because you show up, you see all these faces cut out, and then you see the team. So basically, he wakes up in this table. Batman's fine, but he's surrounded by his family, and they all have like bandages, like bloody bandages on their face.
Right.
You assume that the Joker did what he did to himself to them, right, and cut off their faces. And so it's just this terrifying, terrifying scene. And they can't talk to him, and he just doesn't know what happened. And then you've got Alfred there too, and it's just terrifying until finally you find out that their faces are numb and they're fine. But,
but like it messes with you, right? What's up, Ray? And everybody in the chat, all you guys, thank you for joining us. And there's somebody here, ironically enough. Red Hood is in the chat. So she was in Young Justice season 3. Oh, she was? I haven't seen all of season 3 yet. I really need to catch up.
Also, I love the art when we have the scene where they all have the Joker gas on them, the team.
Oh, yes.
I love this.
They're all beating each other.
I love this art every time I see it.
So during this time, that's one thing I haven't said yet. So Scott Snyder's drawing it. Greg Capullo is the artist, right? Like Greg Capullo is known for drawing Quasar. Like everybody knows Greg Capullo from Quasar. No, nobody knows him from Quasar. Just me and I'm sure 2 people. But he went on to do X-Force, and after X-Force, Todd McFarlane found that he had a similar style, and he was like, "Hey man, come on over. You look like a guy that could draw Spawn." He drew Spawn for freaking years. And after Spawn, I guess he got burned out, and he was asked to either do X-Men. I can't remember if it was one of the X-Men titles or Batman. So he had a choice. So he went with Batman. And I really, really liked his art. Towards the beginning, like I'd say probably about half of the book actually is inked by Jonathan Glapion.
Mm-hmm.
But I enjoy his art a lot more when he's inked by Danny Mickey. Danny Mickey originally started off as an inker for Extreme Studios, which is Rob Liefeld Studios, and he just became this huge star. He's inked everything at like most of the characters at Marvel, most of the characters at DC, but he started off as an independent inker, and he comes on with 0 Year, and I love that start. Like that is my favorite inking on Capullo.
Yeah.
But
I will say that I love his art with one exception.
This is awesome. That freaking horse. There's so many images, like in Arkham when the Joker takes him back to Arkham. Like, this is the way the Joker looks. It's so creepy and awesome. Perfect. That is a good comparison, and I want to know what exception is, or is it during this storyline or later on?
It's right in the beginning.
Oh, show me.
I really, really love the artwork. However,
let me highlight you, and you can share.
Well, no, just wait until I
get it. Hayden, you're absolutely right. Joker is the Moriarty to Batman's Holmes.
Why is this book so damn big?
That's right.
I had an issue with how similar some of his characters look.
Okay.
So, like in scenes where you see Bruce talking to Nightwing or the mayor, I mean, I just don't feel like there's an excuse for look at that, like these 2 men right here that very like.
Well, okay, so I thought the same thing too, but that's what's his name? That's his brother, right? So I guess that makes sense.
Oh, I guess.
But no, you're right. Like his
But I feel like it wasn't just him or other situations where I was like, I'm not really sure.
Well, I can't talk about one, but I've got the perfect example, which really aggravates me, and I can't talk about it because
show you too. There you go.
Well, I can't talk about it because it doesn't happen until the second arc. It won't be until the second omnibus.
Okay.
But if anybody has ever read all of Scott Snyder's run, somebody else is under the cowl of Batman, and it really ticks me off to how different they look because they did something to their face. Anyway, I can't spoil it.
Okay.
So.
But the rest of it I loved. I love the art. I love the inking.
Yeah, he's solid.
I think
solid. So yeah, he takes the Joker down, and Joker takes him back to Arkham, which we get this creepy imagery with the horse again. But this time it's the horse on fire. And Batman's like, of course, there's a horse on fire.
And then we get to talk about the coolest part, though.
Okay, which is
where I absolutely love, because he talks about how he knows that the Joker doesn't care, right? And we've talked about this before, I think, but the part where he goes and talks to the Joker and shows him a card that he had found in his cave that was the Joker's, right? And he's like, and he goes to him as Bruce Wayne in Arkham with this card, and he says,
"Yeah,
I found this. I think it belongs to you." And the Joker looks at him. But it's like this, like, it's beautifully drawn too, because it really does convey it. Because he's just this glass stare where he's like, it doesn't matter, he doesn't care. And he says he looked right at the card, Alfred, and right at me, but he didn't see me. He didn't see me at all.
No.
It was then that I knew that he didn't care who I was beneath the mask and never would. Knew that he was incapable of even broaching the subject of Bruce Wayne. It would ruin his fun. And I love that. I love that.
I think it's just amazing how that's how complex of a character of a villain he is. Like, the arch nemesis doesn't really care who you really are, because and you can say that about Commissioner Gordon as well, especially when we get to Zero Year, right?
Well, and Commissioner Gordon has the same thing about Batgirl.
Oh yeah,
it's a very similar scene where she's ready to show him, and he doesn't take it. He doesn't look. And real quick, sidebar, Lego Batman does a fantastic job of showing that relationship between the Batman Joker. They're almost like love and obsession with each other.
The movie?
Have you seen it?
There's only one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay.
It was cute.
I think it's a fantastic job.
Wait, are you talking about the ending? For both of them?
No. Just like throughout. I mean, like it's obviously a comical view.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But like, I think it's very true to comics. I always think about that when I think about this.
So, a little bit in the chat, and this is something we didn't talk about, was Raphael Albuquerque and Jock did some of the backup stuff. Like during the death of the family, is the Joker recruiting the other people at Arkham Asylum. Right, a lot of that stuff was drawn by Jock. Some of it was drawn by Albuquerque. So, yeah, those are all really cool, and they lead up to the big battle. And in the big battle, Joker falls off, and he's like, "Oh, he's dead, I guess. We know better." And the Bat family all recovers.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next issue is the
Harper
issue, drawn by Andy Kubert, which amazing artist.
Mm-hmm.
Just look at that. Oh, love Andy Kubert's artwork. And yeah, we're introduced to Harper again, and Batman, he breaks her nose, right? Like he punches her.
Yeah.
He's like, "You don't." That was a little hardcore. I was like, "Damn, dude, she's just a kid." And you didn't do that. You didn't do that bullshit to Tim Drake when he was like, "I know you're Batman, and I know Dick Grayson's Robin, and Jason Todd died. I want to be the new Robin." No, he was like, "All right, yeah, man, come along." That was all in Lonely Place of Dying. With her, he's like, "You don't belong here. You're not ready." She's like, "I need a taser gun." and then he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I broke your nose." That was a little harsh, wasn't it?
Yeah, because right now is where we get some like smaller stories before we have 0 Year. They give us just like a few little kind of self-contained stories, like one where he fights Clayman.
Yeah. Oh, there's a 2-issue. I love Clayface.
Clayface. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Clayman is the artist that you love.
Yeah. But I love Clayface, although I really love him in Rebirth.
Yeah, this is a little bit different, right? This is him still being a villain.
Yeah.
I think it's a 2-issue arc, and I absolutely love that because it starts off with the mystery of like Bruce Wayne is robbing a bank. Why is Bruce Wayne robbing a bank? Why is he shooting Commissioner Gordon? What's the deal here? It turns out that Clayface has this new power of swallowing people. It's really awesome. It's quite disgusting. I love it. And
very cool.
Taking over their bodies and learning their all their their memories. But the best part about this, and I'm gonna highlight myself, is Bruce and Lucius Fox are stuck in this right here, this like trash heap. Star Wars style, right? And Lucius is like, there's nothing here but junk, and Bruce is like, surely you got to find something. And Lucius is like, oh yeah, wait a minute, here's an armored suit I threw away. And what is it?
The Batman Beyond suit.
It's the
He's like, oh, well, it's not going to be suit. Battle ready yet.
He's like, that. What made you throw this away? He's like, oh, it would have cost millions of dollars, and we're years away from that kind of technology. And you're like, well, wait a minute, what?
Oh, such a great Easter egg.
Yeah, so that was probably one of the best parts of the 2 issues. That was a really fun 2. I wish. Well, we'll talk about the pacing here in a little bit. And then more backstories with Albuquerque again. There's a story with Superman. Then we get the second annual, which is the story. This was really interesting. This one's co-written by Marjorie Bennett, and it's written by Scott Snyder. But this one's about the oldest person locked up at Arkham Asylum, the forgotten criminal, and it's this lady. What is it? Anchoress? I can't pronounce that. Why am I even trying? Anyway, this old lady that can face through things, a la Kitty Pryde. And she's been locked up, and instead of getting therapy, she blames Batman for messing up Arkham, for throwing a bunch of villains and focusing on that.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it. And Batman's like, oh, I'm sorry, that was really a crappy thing to do. But the thing is, like, during this time, spoilers for another book, Damian had died. He got killed by his mom's henchman in Batman Inc., right?
Yeah.
I think the best aftermath of that, if you have not read it, is the Batman and Robin run by Peter Tomasi.
But I'm dying to.
Phenomenal.
Isn't that the reprint of that omnibus out of print? Or no?
The original omnibus went out of print, and the new one's back. It's still in print. Seriously, you owe it to yourself. That is like some of the best Batman stories. It's standalone-ish, with the exception of like I said, it's got a little bit of death in the family, but you read that here, and it's got everybody though focused on the death of Robin. Like, that was a big deal. It went across the board. So he's dealing with that. He's sad about that. So him and Alfred end up watching like a recorded movie with Damian and him. And got a tear down his face. That was really sweet.
That was really nice.
And the way that so one thing I will say, the way the omnibus is split up is 0 years all one huge story. So you're reading it, all the issues there. So the issue with Harper Row introduced as Bluebird is not all until the very back.
Yeah.
Even though that issue was in between 0 Year and Dark City and Savage City. And then the issue 23.2 is also in the very back. So
and the trades were the same way.
Oh, were they? Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about 0 Year. What started off as a retelling of Batman's year before he became Robin. The fuck's wrong with me? Bruce Wayne before he became Batman. I'll let you talk, Maddie. I apparently can't. Apparently, you don't. Okay.
I don't want to talk about 0 Year.
So 0 Year, 0 Year. This also has beautiful art backup stories. This is the backup
will say the art is nice.
Greg Capullo? Again?
I think the art is nice in here.
Well, now he's inked by Danny Mickey. So I think this is where it's just beautiful. So 0 Year. How do I describe this? Because it is split up into two kind of stories. Dark City, Savage City. It starts off 6 years ago with Bruce Wayne riding a motorcycle. And he's riding his motorcycle in what looks to be like an apocalyptic future. And he runs into this character right here, Duke, who will play a stronger part later on. And he's like, what happened here? And he's like, man, everybody thought you died. You didn't die. He's like, I didn't. So then we go back to the Red Hood and the Outlaws, Red Hood and the gang. Him again going incognito and trying to infiltrate them and figuring out who they are, like taking the DNA. Like he is going full blown. Like, I'm used to him being Matches Malone, right? Matches puts a matchstick in his mouth and mustache. Matches Malone. No one knows who I am. But in this, he's like Mission Impossible style, wearing these synthetic layered masks. So much so that he's wearing like a fat bodysuit and somehow making himself small to be the Cobblepot Penguin.
Yeah.
Right? And Red Hood's like, you're not the Penguin. Man, you've gotten really good at this because you're like 6'3" and the Penguin's like 4'2". How'd you do this? You're a master of arts. He has a fight with Alfred, which he did earlier, and Alfred said, I may not agree with you, but I'll always be there to patch you up. And that does come full circle here towards the end. He has this amazing, I don't know, I really enjoyed a lot of this. I wish, I'll talk about what I think about it later. We're introduced to this version, New 52's version of Vicky Vale. As his uncle, who some of y'all will know, this is Batwoman's dad. So Bruce's mom's brother is Batwoman's father, and that's how they are related. And he's coming back to Gotham. So it's a flashback to 6 years ago. He comes back to Gotham. And it's done really dumb, actually. It's a flashback. Like, it starts 6 years ago as he's Batman. And then it does a small flashback to before he was Batman. So it's a little confusing at first. And he's coming back to Gotham, and he didn't want anybody to find out he's still alive. His uncle wrote him off as dead. And he's I don't know what this means. We are in a room together, man. It's just me and his Omni. And his uncle's like, oh, no, I'm going to tell everybody you're back. Look, Bruce Wayne's back. Prodigal Son's back. And he has this surprise party for him. He's like, dude, that was a dick move to do. I wasn't ready to tell everybody I'm back. He's
it's smart move, though. It works.
Right? But I love this amazing visual right here where he runs into Edward Nygma, right? The Riddler. And there's this whole dialogue here done through this Egyptian, what is it? The Ouroboros?
Yeah.
Wonderful. And I was like, man, what a great story. Meanwhile, the Red Hood is blowing up stuff, but Edward Nygma and his uncle hired the Red Hood. Edward Nygma wants to kill Bruce Wayne, tells his uncle to kill Bruce Wayne. That is the answer to all the riddles. Bruce Wayne's trying to figure out, how am I going to do this? How am I going to, scare these villains? And he has this little ball that his dad gave him. And he sees the cave and he sees bats and he's like, ah, yes, I see. I will become a bat.
That scene was so stupid.
I have to agree with you. Like
what? And it's like the ball is going. It's like, oh, father, I shall become a bat. Like, okay.
It was a little cheesy. I liked, Frank Miller was able not to compare this to year one, but it's hard not to. But Frank Miller was able to do that in 2 panels. Bat breaks through the window. Bruce Wayne looks at Bat. Oh, Batman, got it. Right? And this, it's like
that's all you need.
It's 6 pages of him just like.
I feel like they should have had like a musical number where he's like singing really low and just being dramatic and broody, and that's just like.
My favorite parts about these, though, are the backup stories. This is the stuff that's done by Jim Tynion and Scott Snyder and drawn by Rafael Albuquerque. It's his background of like how he's training to fight assassins and things like that. He shaves his head and he's like, I'm going to don the bat suit. Now, this is the coolest part to me, at least. As soon as that issue kicks off, this one here where he sees the bat outfit, we are using these retro colors right here, almost like the sunset colors.
It is beautiful.
The monotone colors of comic books in almost like the 80s of year one, like a throwback to those classic stories. I love that. Figuring out who the Red Hood is, he takes his DNA. Oh, Red Hood ain't nobody I know. Well, that sucks. And then Scott Snyder mixes the origin of the Red Hood So this particular Red Hood is the Red Hood. So that means that Killing Joke is no longer, or aspects of Killing Joke are, two aspects of Killing Joke are no longer in continuity. One being that he shot Batgirl and crippled her, and the other one being
No, that's
that
still in continuity.
she was never Oracle though. She was Batgirl. Like she got better.
Yeah, but she was still paralyzed first, and she had a special treatment that changed it.
But was she Oracle
Yeah, she was still Oracle though,
during
too.
Suicide Squad?
Not in Suicide Squad, but she was Oracle because then she reuses the name again later in Rebirth.
Okay.
You need to read up on Batgirl.
I did a huge readathon on Batgirl. I don't remember that. I remember they retconning the fact that she was crippled for years.
No, she just got better.
Okay. And then we get to the Riddler part. So that's half. Is this imagery of Red Hood falling into the tank. And he's like, this isn't over. Because, of course, the Red Hood, who's just a freaking no-name villain, knows that he's going to become the Joker, falling into this pit. Sure, whatever. Then we get bone creatures, like friends of his, people that work for Wayne Industries. Yeah. Their bones are growing. They all look grotesque. Mr. Death is involved. Lucius Fox knows what's going on, so he made this anti-serum. So all of that leads into the big riddle of the Riddler. And everything ends back where it all kind of began in the first 0-year issue at the Sphinx, when he figures out what the riddle is, and Batman is able to save Gotham in this final confrontation. And holy crap, these issues went on way too long, at least for me.
God, yeah.
And then we get the aftermath of Savage City, where he's able to save it. And that was six years ago. And you're looking at this going, man, if that was 6 years ago, Nightfall wasn't really that big of a deal. Like, you're bat breaking. You died. You died in 0 year.
Yeah.
Then we get this character, Julie Madison, that was introduced earlier. And I actually kind of like this. It's a girlfriend that he kind of had when he was younger. And Alfred really wants to go.
This fine.
This is a very Tom King-ish thing to do here. He has this images of Bruce getting older with her and having kids. And Alfred still being a poor bachelor butler by himself. And it all fades away when she's like, is he here? And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. He's spoken for.
Yeah.
Because he's Batman. And then we get the Riddler issue and the Harper Row issue where she becomes Bluebird.
I do like that.
Drawn by Dustin Nguyen, and all the extras in the back. And this was a huge book, the first half of Scott Snyder's run. Maddie.
Yeah, this is volumes. If you do the trades, I think it's 1 through 6.
Really? Hot damn. That's a lot. That is a lot.
It's all free on Comixology. So if you don't have the money to buy this omnibus, but you do have a Comixology Unlimited subscription, it's free.
There you go. So what were the highlights for you? What didn't you like about it? Let's talk about that and give our final score. And then we'll ask the chat what they thought.
I liked Court of Owls a lot. I liked Death of the Family. I liked the side stories. I liked everything with Harper. I hated 0 year.
The entire thing.
Entire thing, I hated it. But I just felt like it felt like a weird direction to take this that I didn't ask for. Like, I don't need young Bruce Wayne. I want to keep up with like Bruce and the family and just keep going that way. I don't want another origin story for Batman. I didn't ask for that. I don't care about it. I don't know. And then it went on for so long too, and then it just made me hate it more. So it's just drudge. I was like, really? How long are we? We came from these two really cool stories, right? These two like bigger picture stories to this. I was like, oh, I just hated it.
I think it was the beginning was a really good kickoff to an amazing Batman story. And it's weird, right? Because if you think about it, both Court of Owls and 0 year, it's the exact same number of issues.
but it felt so long.
0 year because for 6 issues you're trying to figure out these damn riddles. For one whole issue, the Riddler's torturing Batman, figuring out the riddles.
I didn't really like Riddler in this either.
No, he was okay.
I like Riddler in Rebirth. I think we were given a very good Riddler. Sean, everyone cares about Harper. I like Harper. She's great. But
I liked Harper. I thought she was a good character, and it was nice. And I'd like to see more of her later on. I haven't seen her hardly anything other than she's friends with what's her name, Cassandra Cain, right? In Rebirth. That's all I remember. In Detective Comics.
I need to remember. Yeah, because she does show up in Detective Comics. That's
right. So to me, this is the stronger half of Scott Snyder's run, because what happens next, really, to me, I think the story went downhill after that. After the events here. So there were aspects of 0 year that I really enjoyed. Him coming to an apocalyptic Gotham and you realizing it's not the future, but it's the past. I gotta admit, that was pretty badass. Him running into the Red Hood and the gang, like, that was pretty cool. I didn't like mixing year 1 with it or Killing Joke with it either. I kind of like that whole mystery of the Joker just being in the Killing Joke. That's all it needs. I don't need another retelling of that because it was done perfectly. I don't need another one, and I don't need another year 1. So when I was excited to see year 0, I could have done without him becoming Batman. I could have, I didn't want him to become Batman because that's what year 1 was. Yeah, and I was disappointed that he mixed that in there. Death of the Family was great, even though nobody really died. But it's the death of the family because nobody at 2/3 of the books, nobody really trusts Bruce. They're like, he knew. One of my favorite things that in this though was in the second annual, when the whole reason he's at Arkham is because they're testing the security at Arkham, the security measures they have. And they're like, well, there's only one man that can break out of this, and he goes through all the scenarios. Well, Clayface could do this to break out of here. Mr. Freeze could do this. Batman. Dude, did you ever sleep? Oh my God, how do you know so much? I get it. You're the greatest detective, but holy shit. Quit being so badass. And I can't help but get it all giddy, like, oh, he's so badass. I hate it.
He is.
And I think Court of Owls was awesome. I love the idea of this mystery just living under your nose the entire time. And even though you know every inch of the city, there's still things there. Dudes literally hiding at your house, and then just I love that. Love it. So Wonder Maddie, what would you give this omnibus? Out of 10, what would you rate it?
Man,
including the art, and the stories.
A 6.
A 6 out of 10.
I feel like it deserves more, but honestly,
well, I mean, but it's your vote. Like, it's not.
I like Rebirth Batman stuff more.
Okay.
I know what it can be, and so I'm just like, this is fine to me because I'm a Detective Comics kind of girl.
You like James Tynion wrote about half of the book, though.
Yeah, but I just didn't.
I see.
I think Zero just killed it for me. I was just like, I don't ever want to read this again. I still love Court of Owls and I love Death of the Family, but it's not enough for me to be like to rate it higher. I think it's 6 out of 10 for me.
I'm glad I reread it. I don't know. I still think it's a great run. I give this an 8.
Yeah.
I love the story. I love the way he writes Batman. I love the art is phenomenal, especially when Danny Mickey takes on as the inker. So just focusing on the story, not the binding of the book, I think it was great. There were a lot of phenomenal moments that outweighed the bad. And you have to push yourself a little bit through, especially if you're reading it in one day through 0 year.
I could see myself giving it a reread, but I don't know.
Okay. So 8 out of 10. 6 out of 10 from Wonder Maddie. What about you all in the chat that have read this, or in the comments if you're not watching this live? What would you all give this out of 10? And this is a good question. Who is the best Batman writer, and why is it year 2? Nobody likes year 2, just me. What is the best Batman writer? I think sometimes the best Batman writer goes a lot with nostalgia, like when I was a kid. What, man? I was a big fan of Ed Brubaker and Greg Rucka's run. Brian K. Vaughan's short little stint on Batman was awesome.
I thought the next big Batman thing we review is Batman and Robin. I think I'd like that more.
Yeah, if you've never read it, I would love to reread it again.
I love Tomasi so much.
Mr. Bloom in the next omnibus. 7 out of 10. 6 out of 10. 7.5 out of 10. 7 out of 10. So yeah, we're around the same ballpark. I think Peter Tomasi's Batman is phenomenal. I think his Batman and Robin run was great. Grant Morrison's, although I enjoyed a lot of it, it can be a little pretentious, especially when you get to Batman R.I.P. And that's just the way I feel about it. What is up, Jimmy Owens? Oh, I love seeing this guy. Not that I don't love seeing everybody else, but this guy. Jimmy, hope everything's all right, brother. What did Hayden say? 4 out of 10, Hayden. Wow, this is not Dark Phoenix Saga, my friend. Wow.
Hayden likes Batman and Robin a lot better.
Yeah, that's a good one though.
And I think I will too.
Let me see. Here's a good question. Omar and Maddie, when reading Omnis, do you spread it out over a couple of days, or do you try to knock it out? Yeah, Maddie, that's a good question for you.
It just depends. I'm usually like an all or nothing.
All or nothing.
I like to binge read stuff.
I do too, but sometimes you need a break, especially if it's like you couldn't do that with a Silver Age comic.
No. Well, and there's other things like I didn't read Hickman in one day.
You read it in a week though. That's still a lot. Like Hick Vengers is a lot.
But that's because I didn't like it.
Yeah. What's up, brother? And not only that, but then you had to read Secret Wars. So that's like 60-something issues. That's quite a lot.
Hayden says I'll give Batman and Robin a 10. I think you're right. I think it's very possible.
You can't pre-grade that. What if you end up hating it?
Hayden knows what I like, okay? I trust him.
Okay. All right, Hayden. We'll see. Man, I'm trying to think of who my favorite Batman writer is. That's a hard question. Because I have, like I said, it goes a lot with nostalgia, and I think most people would disagree with me. I know from my buddy Jess, he loves the Dennis O'Neil, Neil Adams stuff. And for me, it probably goes back to my childhood of and Chuck Dixon and those guys that were doing Nightfall and the Jim Aparo artwork. Oh my God, Graham Nolan. I don't know. That is a hard question. Who would be my favorite Batman writer? What's my favorite Batman story besides Year 2? It's a tough one. I have to think about that one. I can tell you it's not Broken City or David Lapham's City of Crime. Man, I dread reading those two again. Judd Winnick was fun. He did that Scarecrow story, Under the Hood. Those were solid. Rucka. See, Rucka was awesome. So was Brubaker, Murderer, Fugitive. Miller. It's so hard because Miller only wrote like 4 issues, and then he did The Dark Knight Returns, which wasn't even in continuity. So I don't know. This is a tough question. I'm just gonna go with Chuck Dixon. Sure, I'm probably gonna get hate for that, but Chuck Dixon. He was my childhood. Jeff Loeb is good too. Who said that? John Nova. Dude, this is like me thinking for 5 minutes. People watching this, I'm just going, who's my favorite Batman writer? Like you asked me who my favorite Avengers writer, I can tell you Kurt Busiek. My favorite X-Men writer, Chris Claremont. Without Spider-Man, David Michelini. But man, Batman, what a hard character. Best era for Batman, and why is it Year 2? Best era for Batman. Oh my god. You know what? I wasn't even reading comics at the time, but I'm going to say No Man's Land. I was a big fan of that. It introduced my favorite Batgirl, Cassandra Cain. It like destroyed the character of Batman, and he came back from the ashes. Man. What about you, Maddie? I know you haven't read a lot, but what's been your favorite so far?
Detective Comics Rebirth. Does that count?
Yeah. So what a good time to be alive
for me,
for you.
my favorite Batman stories are when he's with his family. Because I think, people have this image like, okay, Batman's this loner guy, and that's what makes him so cool because he's alone and really, dark and scary and awesome. But that's not what I like about him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I like Batman the family man. Because I think that's people, that's part of the thing that like movies get wrong a lot about Batman and makes me upset. Like I want Batman to be with the boys and Batgirl and all the other Batgirls.
Come here.
Like that's what I want.
So I had a small little cameo from my little girl. Come here. This is Miss Lydia. She's reviewed comics with me before, and she reviewed Transformers Phase 1. I'm going to put that up tomorrow. But she's been reading Phase 2 of Transformers. Y'all know how misty-eyed I get. Just my 10-year-old daughter is reading Transformers, like loves Transformers Phase 2. So we need to read Transformers here on the show, Maddie, so you can read it, find out how wonderful these stories are.
Somebody asked me who wrote Detective Comics Rebirth. It's James Tynion.
Mm-hmm. Who co-wrote a lot of this.
Mm-hmm.
Who is isn't he the current writer on Batman after Tom King?
Which I'm really excited for because I need to catch up and finally read through the rest of Batman, and then get to Tynion's run.
My daughter does refer to me as this man right here. She does. Yeah, see, when I was reading Batman, the Bat family was all broken up. Like when I came on, like, Jason Todd had died. Dick Grayson, kind of broke away from Bruce because of the way he treated him. And, he was doing his own thing in Teen Titans. So it was Bruce for a long time. And then Lonely Place of Dying came in. And that's why Tim Drake is my Robin.
Yeah.
Hey, Omar, can you guys do Planetary on the show soon? We absolutely can. I love that book. Love Planetary. Authority. Planetary's better than Authority, though. Let's just go on and say that.
Really? I love the Authority.
Absolutely, especially.
So I'm down to read that.
Let's see. All right. Best era for Ray is when Jason Todd dies and Tim Drake comes into the picture. Yeah, that was great, man. Tim Drake was kind of like Harper. He actually the exact same way. I just want to help, except he didn't get his nose broken. He's just like he got to wear the Robin outfit, which is great. Those were the days when you could call it 900 number.
Since that new booster hardcover got released, can we review that sometime?
The classic booster by Jurgens?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I just hope it sells enough to get a volume 2.
I don't want people waiting, but I'm gonna go ahead and get it.
We just need 2 volumes of that. Okay, so we are in the month of December. What would you all like us to review? We've got 2 weeks here in December. We were thinking about Absolute Swamp Thing, right?
Yeah, I vote Swamp Thing because I want to read it.
Yeah, Absolute Swamp Thing. I say, let's see. We'll do something special on the 31st. Since I'm having a New Year's party, maybe you can come over and we'll do something really quick. Live. Really quick.
Only if we're drinking.
Dude, it's the 31st and it's at 8 o'clock. I'll be drunk.
Okay, good. What's something funny to review drunk? Something not too long because I have a lot of cosplay, so.
Because you have a lot of cosplay to do? Is that what you? Oh, because you're getting ready to.
For MagFest.
Okay, so let's do this. Why don't we do Absolute Watchmen or Absolute Swamp Thing for the 24th?
Okay.
We'll do something short for the 17th and the 31st. So in the chat, what should we review? What's short and sweet? Like
Battle Pug.
I don't have that yet. I wanted to steal your copy.
Man, I'm surrounded by books. I should just tell you to read something that I've read.
But people need to take their time when it comes to reading this masterpiece, though. So we may save that for January. This masterpiece.
Ooh, Snyder Justice League hardcover. Oh, we can't do so much DC this month, though. We usually try to diversify it.
Yeah. So let's see. Let's do something quick for next week. Something short. I was thinking of what is a short run? I think it's Daredevil. I was thinking Daredevil Man Without Fear because I'm going through a huge readathon of Daredevil. 100 Bullets, Walter Simonson's Ragnarok, which we need to do. Drunk Anything. Have we done Mr. Miracle?
I mean, I've read it a couple times.
I've read it too, so maybe we can do that for New Year's.
My girl in it.
Drunken Mr. Miracle would do it any
we've already reviewed Moto Girl. Did we review Moto Girl in here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We did Moto Girl. You and Amanda really liked it, and I thought it was okay.
I like Justin's recommendation.
Who's?
Have you read Sunstone and review it?
You know, if I do that, I'm gonna end up getting the stupid hardcovers, and I don't need any more hardcovers. Okay, I'm gonna fall in love with the artwork.
Omar, you need the hardcovers. Are you kidding me?
Okay,
it's beautiful. This art is beautiful. You have to own it. Ooh, let's bring Tina on for it too, because she's actually borrowing my volume 1. Because the first big like arc is contained within volume 1 and 2 of the hardcover.
Okay. Are they still in print?
Yeah. Done. Drunk New Year's review.
Demon Bear Saga. Dude, you want me to? I said short. That's like how many hardcovers is that? Maddie?
We already reviewed Klaus.
Yeah, we did Klaus last Christmas, I think. So if you want to check that out. Spoilers. We all love his super sexy.
And we've also reviewed Long Halloween already.
Yes, we did Long Halloween last year. We've done a lot on this show we've been doing it for over a year, so it's been a lot of fun.
Any more Booster Gold? Yes, but not yet.
We're working on it. Laughing my ass off. Tina's so professional that when she came on, it threw everything she did.
That's why we'll get her drunk. It's fine. Even though she and I will have to drive to DC the next day.
You don't have to.
If anyone's at MacFest, say hi. Well,
Wonder Maddie and Tina from Near Mid Condition will both be representing.
Yep.
At MagFest. Ooh, that's a good one, actually. That's another Batman book. No, we can't do Batman. This is the best part about this show. This is where we just get a bunch of people like we've done Long Halloween.
Yeah.
We could do the follow-up, The Dark Victory, but then that's another Batman story. So no Batman. No Batman this
month. No more
month.
DC, because we'll review Swamp Thing, but then we have to do something non-DC, which is why Sunstone.
That's indie.
All
right, we'll do Sandstone for what's it called? New Year's, right? Is that what you want to do, or next week?
Oh yeah. So we have another.
Because I can't get those books in by next week.
Yeah. Okay. So we do have 2. Oh, we have 2 in the way. Okay. So we have Swamp Thing, and then this 24th we have to decide something.
Yeah. So I think
has to do The Shape of Elvira. It's a mini series in one trade.
What? I don't feel like crying, so I don't need to look at that shelf.
Why don't we choose a first, second book? You've never reviewed. I don't think you've ever even read a first, second book.
You don't know me. Yes, I have. Name me some.
Oh my gosh. Laura Dean keeps breaking up with me. This was our pact. Any Tilly Walden book. Andre the Giant.
Nope, and nope. Who did This One Summer? Was that first?
I think so, yeah.
So I did do it. Yeah, I got one.
No, I want a whole weekend and I just make you read a whole bunch of first second because man, you're missing out. There's some very good comics.
I know there's a lot of comics, and you're gonna read Transformers. Damn it!
Well, then you can. Ooh, that'll be the trade-off. I'll read Transformers, and you read.
I have been wanting to read
second.
Andre the Giant for a long time now.
It's good.
Son of a. What?
Everyone can hear me talk about it when I film my library haul this weekend and post it next week.
Okay, there we go. I'm trying to look through my Marvel books as a standalone like series that's short and sweet. And let me look through the chat here. Have we done Vision? Did we do Vision?
I don't know. I've read it.
And God, yes. Shattershot.
Let's do Sex Castle. Let's do Sex Castle or Assassination. Have you read that one? Or Mars Attacks?
No, I haven't. But
Let's do a Cal Starks book.
Well, we could. Okay, hold on.
That's short, fun.
Okay. Hold on. I'm trying to put in a Marvel book in there too, because we're doing another DC book. So I'm trying to make it something from Marvel and then DC and then independent, which we could do.
She-Hulk.
You want to do She-Hulk before the Omnibus? She-Hulk.
We should wait for the Omnibus, right?
Yeah. Which run do you want to do?
Any of them.
Maybe the Dan Slott run. John Byrne isn't collected that well. Oh, I got it, Maddie. Can I pick it since you pick Sunstone or whatever? Okay. All right, Garth Ennis's Punisher. Welcome back, Frank. Welcome back, Frank. It's the first 12 issues of the MK series.
Yeah.
Okay, so that will be for next week.
Okay.
So the week of the 17th, we are going to be reviewing Garth Ennis's Punisher Marvel Knight series. Welcome back, Frank. I think it's the first 12 issues. It's the first part of the omnibus, and then Absolute Swamp Thing, and then Sunstone. Drunken Sunstone talk. There are a lot of lesbians in Sunstone. You really want me to talk about that drunk? That is not going to go well. I can guarantee you.
Listen,
how immature I am when I'm sober.
To help.
All right.
Okay. And Tina can help you.
Yeah, y'all can watch what I say. All right. So there you go. There's our schedule for the rest of the year. If you all want to join us, please read those. If you have never read them, I highly recommend reading them because we talk about spoilers and you can join us back here. If you're not doing anything on New Year's Eve, we'll be talking about Sunstone, a book I only vaguely know 2 things about. Beautiful artwork and lesbians. Right? I don't have a problem with that. I'm good. I just don't want to know. It's a bad idea to have a drunken Omar talk about that stuff, but I guess we'll see.
I think will have been very nice discussion about how they do a job of showing romance and BDSM in a very mature way.
Okay. All right. So there you go. How much of Sunstone do you want to do? Like the first book?
The first 2.
First 2. Okay. I'll have to find them and get them then. All right. So, thank you everybody for joining us. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe button. I'm sorry. So the Punisher and Welcome Back, Frank is the very first part of the first omnibus. It's not the Max stuff. It's the kid-friendly Marvel Knight stuff. I'll watch while drinking root beer. Awesome. Yeah. So come celebrate with us. So we will be back to our regular schedule on Tuesdays. So thank you, everybody. Maddie, I'll let you sign us off since.
Sure. All right. Thanks everybody for joining us. Don't forget to comment below if you're watching this later to tell us what you thought of this run. And please like the video if you haven't. And I hope you subscribe if you haven't, just to check out our future videos. Don't forget we have a Redbubble and a Patreon if you'd like to support us that way. And we will see you next Tuesday.
Good night, everybody.
Night.
Or good morning, wherever you are.